Last painting we'll do is a waterfall. I've rubbed the undercoat in there again. Like the little cottage in the forest, we just give a tone up here for the colour in the background of the trees. A bit of whatever I feel like picking up, a little bit of burnt sienna, Indian yellow, maybe a little dab of purple. Rub it in there, I'll rub it off again. There we are, that's the tone we need for the background trees again. And with a little round brush, again we do these branches. A lot of them will be covered up, so we're not real fussy about them. That one's too dark, it's obviously going to be covered up. And with our big round brush, we pick up two colours to do the background trees. I've got three colours on there actually. I've got a little bit of chrome green. I'll take that off because I prefer to have purple and Naples yellow in the background there. So that's our background trees, a little bit of forest. Again, you can go to a lot of trouble if you want to and dab them on individually. There we are. Now all this area here is going to be trees, so we'll put the purple background in there quickly. And the water's going to be falling down here and a big tree up there later, up one side or the other. We'll determine what side we put the tree after we have a look at the painting at that stage. Down the middle where the water's going to fall, purple, brush it well in, and back over this side. This is a bit of a red purple. I prefer a blue purple sometimes. I should put a bit more blue in that purple, but again, it doesn't matter. Now for the foliage on these trees, chrome green, dab dab brush stroke, start for the centre and work out towards the edge of the painting. That's little mushroom shapes into big umbrella shapes. Same over here. Again, we change the sunlight direction to keep the painting interesting. Now we'll do the rocks down here. With rocks, load your knife with, that was burnt umber and purple together. So it doesn't matter really what you put on there. That's the dark colours, and just plaster on rock shapes. Now, rocks aren't any particular shape, but because we've got water running down here, the rocks will be facing in. So just plaster it on. We're not looking for any rock shape here, we're just looking for the rock sloping in shape. If you're not sure where to put the paint, just shut your eyes and put it on, because it doesn't matter where it is as long as it's facing in. Now have a look there, and if you can see any rocks, we'll detail them. Pick up a bit of white and a bit of burnt sienna on your knife at the same time, and that'd be, I'd say the sun would be shining there, so we'll put a bit of colour there. The sun would shine on that one, put a bit there, again down there. The sun will be shining up here. So that's basically your rocks. We'll colour that bit in there. A bit of paint missing, there's raw canvas there. Now we're going to put the water crashing down off the rocks. To do that, we'll take the fan brush, rub it in blue paint until it's quite dirty in the blue paint. Then wipe it just once, wipe it a bit clean so there's not too much paint hanging off it. Then straight into the white paint, pick up a great big blob of white paint. Don't mix it with the blue, just pick the paint up. Now that's quite a lot of paint on the brush there. I'm going to make it run down, probably crash on that rock down to there. So put your brush on where the water starts. It's hanging there on its own, just drag it down. It'll give the effect of water coming off the paintbrush. Turn it over when it nearly runs out of paint or when you want to change direction, and drag it down again. Now that's an easy way to do water. I'll wipe the brush clean. If you want to make the water more detailed, you can give it this brush stroke like that. That'll make it look like more like it's running. Often when you put the water on, it just looks like a straight line. Well, that'll give you a more running effect. Now we have to detail these rocks to compensate for the shape of the water. Take a bit of dark paint, purple or burnt umber, I've got both on there at the moment, and colour the bit beside the water. Build a couple of rocks there, sculpture the rocks in. And a bit of sunlight on the new rocks you just put in. That'll do for the rocks now. They'll look a lot more detailed when we put the green in, but first of all we'll do the reflection here in the water. I'll rub in white. I haven't decided which side to let the water run off this painting yet. It doesn't matter, we'll take it off this side, it's already there now. Now the reflections. First of all, we'll have a little reflection of a sky here. Even though you can't see the sky up there, we'll put it in the bottom here. Then the reflection of the rocks. That'll be quite dark in this area. And then you'll have the little bits of sunlight shining on them, maybe here and there. It doesn't matter if it's not in the same place as the rock above it. And of course the reflection of the water, just there. Now when we put our green on, this is chrome green, so we do the foliage between the rocks. Similar to the Aboriginal painting, we correct the rocks by putting foliage in between them. You might like to put a lot of rocks there and cross out the good ones and cross out the bad ones and leave the good ones. That's the foliage between the rocks. Anywhere where you can't see what's going on and it doesn't look as you want it, just have a bit of foliage in there. And again, if you've got time and you wish, you can fancy it up by all different coloured little flowers in the background and all. Don't forget to put the reflection of them in the water. That's the reflection roughly in the water. We take our big flat brush again. And I find if you start in the middle it's better, because if you start on the outside you get your brush dirty by the time you get into the middle. So we'll start in the middle, wipe the brush clean, pull it down once onto another spot. Now that looks all right. There's nothing I can see that's obviously wrong there as far as the reflection goes. We touch up the water crashing on the rocks underneath the waterfall now by just loading your knife with plenty of white paint with a blue streak through it, just daubing the paint on as if you're sculpturing water there. Now for the dark line underneath the rocks. And the white ripples again. I don't like this water over here, so we won't have that. We'll cross it out. Come down into the dark colours down in the corner again. I was going to put the tree up there, but I'll put it up this side now. You'll find as you work along, you'll change your mind about where you put things. This is the easiest way to work, because then you're not worried that you're going to put things in the wrong place. Anything can be replaced. Anything that's in the wrong place, just cross it out and put something else over it. The beauty of making up as you go along. And if you learn the few simple brush strokes, there's only a few of them, then you can put the items exactly where you want them. We'll do that big tree now. Load the knife with purple on one side and the light on the other side. I'm using purple on one side, burnt sienna and white on the other side. We'll pull the tree down through here. Sculpture it. and another fork, another branch over here. A bit of dark in the bottom of the tree again. And I'll detail this edge here by giving us a nice straight dark line down there. I'll do the same to this branch here. I'd like to put a log laying under here. We haven't done a log yet. I've loaded the knife with purple on one side, white and burnt sienna on the other side. That's the light is shining on this direction again, so the light colour is on the top of the knife. And that's a basic log. You can detail it by tidying the bark up, and it never looks any good until you get a bit of grass underneath there and a few branches off it. So I'll put a branch up there. And as soon as we put the grass underneath, it'll look a lot more like a log laying there. Tidy up under the bottom of the tree. Now we haven't done the tree trunks here. They're just a little round brush, load it with two colours, roll it as you put it on. These branches go in the dark part of the trees, the bit between the foliage. If you do any and they're not as you want them, cover them over with foliage again. That branch didn't come out, but it doesn't matter. And again. So a bit of foliage with a big foliage brush. Load it with purple on one side, Naples yellow, chrome green on the other. It's getting a bit thick up here, the paint, so maybe we'll leave that foliage out. It's not necessary. Down the bottom here we can have some little flowers. It's purple and Naples yellow and chrome green, all the brush at once. Well, I'll sign that painting now, and that's the end of the waterfall. I think you'll find you'll have a lot of fun practising this method. The idea is to practice your brush strokes so you don't have to think about them, and all you have to think about is your arrangement. You can put the picture together as you wish. This painting is a combination of most of the things I've shown you how to paint. You'll be able to make your own combinations up now. You can move your cottage across this side or your waterfall across that side. Little cartwheel, put it anywhere you like. You can make big paintings like this or little miniature paintings. Just make up your own combinations with the items I've showed you how to paint. Hope you have a lot of fun doing that.